Hi, this is Doug Cole, and thanks for joining us as Right on Replicas reviews the 91 Ford F-350 dually pickup kit from Revell. This is a 124 scale kit, model number 85-4378. At Right on Replicas, we take pride in providing you with the best scale model reviews on the planet. And remember, you can order a printable copy of any review at the ROR website, but if you want to see every review, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the box art for the Trucks Series kit. Here are the decals for this release. The quality is very good and the registry is good too. There's a small carrier around each one, but they float easily and they'll set quickly. In most cases, it's a good idea to use some setting solution to help move the decals and place them and give them the ability to conform to contours. I like micro scale industry stuff because it seems to be compatible with most of the different decal makers. We'll start this build by constructing the engine. It's 19 pieces and pretty well detailed, and you can take and assemble the block and heads along with the transmission and the front case and paint those before you even finish the rest off. This is the right side of the engine, and as you can see, all the pieces fit very well and go on properly. The coloration is the way it would appear on the original. Prominent on the left side of the engine are the air conditioning unit and the fuel injector on top, as well as the orange oil filter. Assemble the parts to start building the chassis, and note the circle in the middle. Right there is a copyright script. You may want to sand that off for a contest build. Also on the right side with a question mark, there's a gas tank there. I actually removed the gas tank from my model for a future build version, but you should leave yours there. Now paint the whole thing flat black, and of course pick out the exhaust with steel tubing, an aluminum muffler, and copper catalytic converter. With those in place, you can now add the chrome tips to the end of the exhaust pipes. Now assemble the parts for the front suspension and paint them flat black, but make the coils on the springs a silver color. Paint the shocks a red or blue color and install them along with the suspension. Add the tie rod and snap the wheel backs in place. Assemble the rear axle next by painting the axle and leaf springs semi-gloss black. The shocks are the same color as the fronts, and the tire mount is a flat black. Now you'll want to remember to remove the center cap from the tire rim. Use the deep wheel backs and paint those aluminum. And the drive shaft is a dark steel with a flat black center mount. Now you can attach the leaf springs and the axles along with the shocks to the chassis. Add the wheel backs and insert the rim into the tire and sandwich it between the gas tank and the tire mount. Now insert the drive shaft into place and attach the mount to the frame. After that assembly has set up, install the motor. Just drop it into place. Assemble the wheels by pushing the rims into the tires. To create a road-worn look, just press and roll the tire tread on a sheet of medium grit sandpaper to kind of rough up the tread surface. Now take the tires and the wheel backs and add them to the spindles on the axles. These are non-directional tires, so they can go anywhere. Paint the rear wheel spacers aluminum, and then install the rear tires by adding them to the rim, putting them in place, and a spacer in between the second tire. Once again, that road-worn look looks pretty authentic, so roll those tires on a piece of medium grit sandpaper and install them into place. Here is the completed rolling chassis. Now gather the interior parts and choose your color for your interior. The trim line on the interior panel, the pedals, and the door locks and window buttons are black, as well as the exterior of the tub itself. Gather the dashboard, steering column, and steering wheel. Assemble the steering column and the wheel and paint the bezels and accessories as shown. Then apply the decal for the instrument panel. Now install the interior parts with the seat, the steering column, and the dashboard into place, and you can personalize it with some scaled down photos from the internet. Now gather up the cab and the hood, the firewall, radiator, etc. These pieces and remove any blemishes, especially parting lines from the exterior. Do the same with the truck bed and the tailgate to prepare them for paint. Assemble and attach the tailgate and add the supports as required. Now that all the body parts have been cleaned up and dried, you can primer them inside and out with a good quality primer. Then you wet sand it again and let it dry for final paint. Spray all the parts with even light coats at first to get them to tack, and then a couple of wet coats to get the depth. Once the color coat is dry, you can begin putting the decals on. Again, I suggest using a decal setting solution to help them settle in across ridges and contours. Use plenty of water and make sure that they slide on nice and easily. Paint the master cylinder black and install it into place on the firewall, and then use some Sharpie pens, silver and black, to detail the rest of the parts there. Use a black Sharpie to detail the window trim on the outside of the front window. Also, use a silver Sharpie to detail the chrome trim on the window surround. Attach the rear view mirror to the window and install it in place with some white glue from the outside. Use that black Sharpie to detail the surrounds on the rest of the windows and add that eagle decal to the back window. Use the Sharpies to trim out the windows like you did with the front windshield, and install the back window from the outside and the interior windows, side windows, from the inside. Also, paint the visor's body color and use some white glue to install those behind the front window. Now glue the interior tub into the cab in the position shown indicated by the red arrows. Gather the parts for the bed and assemble the red transparent taillights into the chrome bezels. Now use some slow setting glue and some clamps to add the side walls to the bed. Then place the tailgate into position and make sure that it will still open and close. Now slide the bed onto the cab and make sure that the locking tabs snap into place. Place some glue onto the contact points and slide the body over the chassis to secure it in place. Now we'll complete the engine bay. The radiator shroud and hoses are all flat black, and of course the radiator itself is aluminum, and there's some aluminum clamps on the radiator hoses. Attach the transmission radiator to the radiator and add the fan shroud to the other side. Then install the radiator supports. Add the upper and lower radiator hoses and assemble and install the air box and air tube. Then add the fresh air tube. Add the battery decals and your engine compartment is complete. Paint the turn signal indicator lamps orange and add the decal to the front bumper. Now install the headlights and the turn signal lights and add the middle panel. Install this onto the truck. Add the bumper, paint the plate backer flat black and install that. Then cut out the license plate and glue it on with some Elmer's glue. Assemble the rear bumper by adding the hitch plate and ball to it. Attach the rear bumper assembly to the truck and paint the license plate backer flat black, then cut out the plate and glue it on with some white glue. Paint the KC light covers black and add the decals to the face. Install the roll bar and its supports along with the mirrors and add the door handles. Also the F-350 badge. Paint the wiper blades black and install those, and use some transparent yellow and paint the roof lights with them. Install the roof lights at an even distance apart on the top of the roof on the front edge. The only thing that you should have left over in the kit are a couple of wheel backs and an alternate gauge display decal. I think you'll find that this is a great kit. Everything is pretty crisp. There's just a few blemishes, but the fit is great. The glass fit was perfect. The bed lined up with the locking tabs. It was great to snap into place. The decals on this version were very thin and they fit well. I didn't have any issues with tearing and they slid into place without much solution at all. Now overall, this has been a great build, and I hope you'll enjoy it too. It's been a pleasure bringing you this quality review from Right On Replicas. As always, you can see us on Facebook and at our website at www.rightonreplicas.com. Thanks again.